What's up everyone, Coach Tony from Bombeck Strength, and in today's video I'm going to talk about how to find the right hip position for you to start your deadlift to make sure you get the most speed off the floor and the best possible positioning. So what most people struggle with in the deadlift is finding a hip position that's not too high, not too low, kind of right in the middle where they feel the most comfortable but also feel the strongest. And I'll kind of show you like the two ends of the spectrum and how you can use those two to find your common middle ground. So I think a lot of times when we first start coaching people on deadlifts, they set their hips way too low and they kind of try to squat the bar. They start with their hips down really low like this. And when you do that, the bar starts too far away from the body, and as they start the lift, the hips kind of shoot up and or the back rounds to get in a position where they have some tension in their body. Now, you may have heard me talk about taking the slack out of the bar when you deadlift, which helps you tension into the bar so that when you first start the lift, the bar will move without your body moving. If you don't put tension into the bar and you don't have tension in your body, in your lats and in your hamstrings, the bar will take the slack out of you, so to speak, where it might kind of look like this. My hips are really low here, and as I start to lift, my hips will shoot up. And the reason that happens is your body's just trying to find tension. Your hips will shoot up, your back will round to create tension in either your hamstrings or in your back, which lets you leverage the bar off the ground. That's obviously not ideal, starting with your hips so low like that. On the other end of the spectrum, you'll see a lot of people start with their hips really, really high because it's easy to feel tight here. It's very easy to feel tension in my hamstrings and in my lats, but obviously that's not the most, I don't want to say safe, but it's just not like a good sustainable position to start your deadlift in. So how can we find that middle ground between a low enough hip position where I can break the bar off the ground quickly and a position with my hips high enough that I feel tension in my lats and in my hamstrings? For a lot of people, it's feeling the two ends, too far one way, too far the other way, and finding that middle ground. What you want to do, if you like starting with your hips in that lower position, I think it's totally fine to sit down really, really low, put tension into the bar with my lats, and then just pop my hips up until I feel hamstring tension, and this is your starting point. You saw when I did that with 135 on the bar, it actually starts to hover off the ground. That's an indication that you're doing it right, that you're putting enough tension into the bar to get it to hover. Obviously, once you get enough weight on there, that won't actually happen, but a really, really good feedback mechanism to know that I'm doing it right. Okay, hips are really low, take the slack out of the bar with my lats, hips come up to find hamstring tension, and I know that I'm good to go. On the other end, if you're somebody who likes to start with their hips higher and feel that hamstring tension first, what you can do is try to lock my legs out, find hamstring tension. Even if my back rounds, that's okay, but I feel my hamstrings, and then I just drop my hips until my shins touch the bar, and basically keep my hips as high as possible, but only get them low enough to flatten my back. So we would call this more of a top-down approach. Hamstrings, find the bar, drop the hips, and that way I have all that tension but get my hips just low enough to push the bar off the ground with some speed. So if you're struggling to find that middle ground, use the two ends of the spectrum. Hips too high, hips too low, get in the middle, and that will hopefully